Howdy folks, Jambareeqi here. When self-proclaimed marketing visionary Ken Visselman, the man behind the American localization of Thomas and Friends and Teletubbies, decided to make an interactive children's film, the end result was the Oogieloves in the Big Balloon Adventure, a film that hardly anyone saw in its opening weekend. But did it deserve that kind of reception? Well, let's find out. The Yougalufs in the Big Balloon Adventure centers on three colourful characters called Zuzi, Toothy and Gooby as they go on a quest to collect 5 missing magical balloons, which will be birthday presents for their friend Schloopy the Pillow. To those of you who didn't see this movie when it came out in theatres, trust me, you didn't miss out on anything. The Oogieloves is testament to what happens when a marketing executive is given the power to make a film. It's a disaster of a movie that fails on so many levels. It uses tropes, conventions and traditions from popular children's entertainment without knowing why these devices work so well in successful movies and shows. Oogielof's decision to feature audience interactivity is its first blunder. The reason this works for films like Rocky Horror Picture Show is because the fans created the movie responses themselves. They weren't shoehorned into the narrative by the filmmakers. The interactivity comes from a place of passionate fandom. Unlike Oogieloves, which constantly halts its story to encourage the audience to shout, sing or dance, whether they like it or not. This drags many scenes on and makes the characters seem obnoxiously demanding.
Okay, but every time your pants fall down, we're gonna say, Goofy, Toofy, pick up your pants! All together now!
Goofy, Toofy, pick up your pants!
Yes, there are loads of kids' TV shows that have the presenters talking to the audience and getting them to do things. But this works for a short TV show that lasts about 20 minutes. It doesn't exactly transition into a different medium like film. It's a different kind of experience, a different way of entertaining the audience. Because it's longer, it's bigger, it's more cinematic. The Yougaluf's personality are made even more aggravating by the fact that they spend most of the movie describing their own personalities and talents, rather than letting the audience get to know them.
I'm Gooby, and I like scientific things like physics and engineering. And pickles.
I'm Zuzi, and I'm fluent in every single language, even animal.
I'm Toofy, and I love to have as much fun as possible, all the time. We're the Oogieloves.
It doesn't help that the story being told is weaker than a flailing Magikarp. Why should I care whether these 3 freaky kids find 5 creepy face balloons for a pillow? Especially when said pillow spends most of the movie asleep and his dialogue is limited to nonsensical gurgling. This is not a 90-minute movie narrative, it's a premise for a 5-minute short or a Saturday morning cartoon episode. That's my biggest gripe with the Oogieloves. It doesn't feel like a movie. The underwritten plotting, the cheap sets, and the frequent attempts to talk to the audience really make it feel more like a half-arsed TV or stage production, rather than a cinematic adventure. Oogieloves is also mind-numbingly repetitive. Every scene plays out the exact same way. Each one goes like this. The Oogieloves find a balloon, a random character played by a celebrity appears, said celebrity refuses to help them and sings instead, until they change their mind. The balloon is rescued and the celeb hands the Oogieloves a present for Schloopy. Sure, repetition can sometimes be charmingly poetic, and it's a storytelling tradition that kids like, but only when it's done with creative wit. You can't just do the same thing over and over again, then expect audiences to be won over. There needs to be some imagination and creativity involved. That's why things like the Gruffalo work. There's some element of invention or wit in every scene, despite the repetitive storytelling pattern. The repetitiveness in the Oogieloves isn't charming, it's more monotonous, calculated, formulaic, predictable, and soulless. Now, I mentioned that this film features celebrities. You're probably wondering why these respected thespians are humiliating themselves in this lazy Teletubbies clone. I actually have no idea. Maybe Ken Visselman knows some dark secrets about these stars and blackmailed them into being in his film. That's my best guess, because these performers should know better and don't deserve this level of degradation. Each celebrity gives off a different kind of bad performance, ranging from confused and scared, tired and bored, or disturbingly excited. I mean, look at Sesame Street. The celebrities that appeared in that show managed to retain their dignity while keeping the audience in mind. Celebs in this movie include an underused Christopher Lloyd as a bongo-playing chap with one line, Cloris Leachman as a weird old lady with a fetish for circles,
Gooby, Zuzi, and Toothy, won't you have a wonderfully rounded orange? Oh, will you bounce a giant rubber ball? Would you run around in circles? Oh, circles, circles. Oh, circles, how I love circles. Oh.
And Carrie Elways is a bubble-loving cowboy who can't stop wobbling, resulting in a performance that makes him look like he's trying to do a bad Jim Carrey impression while aggressively constipated.
Do you like bubbles?
Yeah!
Well, gosh, are you in the right place? Walk this way.
On a side note, doesn't he look like our Cardiff and Glass reflection? Maybe it's me. Finally, let's discuss the puppetry. This film features some of the worst puppet work put on the cinema screen. There's not a single puppet in this movie that doesn't make me shit myself scared. The Yougalufs themselves have giant heads with creepy expressionless faces and mouths that barely move. Seriously, what was the point of making their mouths move when they look like they've got constant lockjaw? Plus, the animals look like they were conceived through incest, especially the cow, a disturbing puppet that makes me feel less guilty about eating burgers. There's a lack of competence behind these puppets, as if they were made and operated by people who didn't know or understand puppet acting or crafting. All throughout the movie, I was constantly aware that these characters were sock puppets, animatronic heads, or body actors. The puppetry is too lazy and cheap to help create the illusion that these fabrications are living, breathing characters. To conclude, I think that the Oogieloves and the Big Balloon Adventure is a boring and creepy film. Much like Cool Cat Saves the Kids, it's a cringe-inducing attempt to cash in on the children's entertainment market without putting in any effort. Just because the target demographic for your film is young doesn't mean that you should abandon any sense of audience respect or quality control. Children deserve much better than patronising trash like this. In the next episode of Puppet Panic, I'm going to review Muppet Treasure Island. Arr!